Some of you guys, man, like I reply to my comments if you will, if you didn't ban me yet for being white, bro. I'm about to respond to your comments. In fact, your observations are very valid. It's like, guys, you have to understand sometimes. Sometimes even I have to bitch out and have a sip of tea because can't be doing this all the while. Also, I've got some studies and have to finally clear that examination, that entrance examination. So this is a very good observation. Okay, but bear with me. Truth is, most sub fives never touch the surface of autism. Well, I partially disagree with that. It's true that not every single sub five who has these characteristics, not wanting to interact with people, is autistic, but there seems to be a link between autism and sub 5 features. If you genuinely believe in that stuff, that good genes come in a package, it seems like there's a correlation between dysmorphic features and autism. There's studies on this. There's features like flat filtrums, long filtrums, very compact mid faces, squished facial height, thin lips, and the correlation of these things with autism. So there's a correlation. In all of these, with all of these features. So good genes do also come in a package. But again, not every single sub 5 is autistic. And what you observed is a valid observation. They have, to an extent, learned this as well, that interacting with people is not useful. But again, there are plenty of decent looking guys to even somewhat good looking guys. Let's say they're below that Chad level, who are autistic, who suffer because of that. So there's all sorts of variables right here, but yeah, this is true to a very great extent because not a huge percentage of people are autistic, right? But autism adjacent behavior is common in unattractive men because they have learned to not interact with people. In fact, there's some studies on this as well, again from the famous Ellen Burchide. She did a study on this. Men who got rejected by attractive women, men who had low self-esteem, they actively tried to avoid women, in particular who were considered more physically attractive. Now, it's different that women who themselves are rejected by attractive men, aka average-looking women, would still reject those guys. There's also again studies on that when women are rejected by attractive men, they bitterly reject average-looking men. So these guys who think that they are doing good by not asking out those good-looking women and instead asking out those less good-looking girls, they would have better chances. They're also wrong. They are also wrong, right? Because it's not like the chances are going to improve. It's not like Becky has any different standards either. She's going to be even more bitter that Chad rejected her. This is true. I mean, if you have been burned once, it's pretty normal to not be, to not ask for being burnt twice. Like, you'll not try that. Here's another funny comment from him. I never tried because I was, no, not this one. Not this. It was this one. I never tried because I was early on at age 11 bullied and then made fun of twice at 12 years age by girls. So I never even tried because I know what people can do if I did. It's absolutely true. Now, what I was talking about is a different situation. Is when you try, but it still doesn't work out. That is the case with Asana. Asana tried, and it still doesn't work for him because he simply cannot relate with a lot of what women find interesting. I mean, even when we are talking about jestermaxxing, the thing is, you need that socialization to jestermax. Even jestermaxxing requires a level of looks that you are not socially excluded because of your looks. Now, here's the interesting thing: if you are growing up and you are below a threshold of looks, let's say you are not average, you'd not even be included in friendship circles. There's like 71% of women who avoid, I'm not telling you reject, who avoid someone entirely for their appearance. So there's a huge percentage of women majority of women who would avoid you if you are not up to that looks threshold. Let's say you are genuinely sub 4. genuinely sub 4, then women are going to avoid you even as a friend. You're probably not even going to have the tools that you require to be a jester maxer. Even that requires an extent of socialization. That is what I was talking about. That is what I was talking about. Yes, it's true that those guys try and then they might fail, and then they realize that it's not worth trying. But I'm talking about the guys who are still trying, who maybe had a glow up, as they say, who went through puberty and then they got better looking. The problem is because they simply do not have that experience, they cannot relate with those people. They often cannot relate with other guys. Asana might be a very good example of that. Your case is different because you have learned by experience. With Asana, the thing is, he doesn't even have that chance. He doesn't even know how to try. So that's the difference. So both of these can be true at the same time, while both equally valid.